Hello, it's Tim again here. Another movie review. This time for the movie Damsel from 2024. This is actually a Netflix film starring Millie Bobby Brown. I'll just say in terms of like Millie Bobby Brown and stuff. I've never watched Stranger Things. I've never seen one episode of Stranger Things. Not because it's probably a bad show. I just don't care enough to watch it. There's nothing about the show that really entices me or just sounds interesting enough to watch. But it doesn't mean it's a bad show just because I don't care to see it. Like, it could be a tremendously great show. I know it's popular. I've just never cared to watch it. Maybe after the show officially ends, I'll go back and watch it from episode one and just do the whole show in a binge in a day. Maybe. But as far as Millie Bobby Brown goes, the only thing I really know her from, I know she's in that show, but the one thing I really know her from is the Godzilla movies, and she's fine in those in terms of acting performance. She's good, she's fine. Here, though, I would say she's actually better in this movie, Damsel. She puts on a good performance. She's not great, she's not fantastic, but she's solid here. Overall, in terms of this movie, I'd give it a 3 out of 4. I liked it. I thought this was a good movie. It is not a great movie. It is not mind-blowing. This film does not break any new ground or anything, but overall, it was a good time for what it was. It's pretty much about this story, Millie Bobby Brown's character, who's going to marry this other prince or whatever, and they're going to, like, unite the kingdoms. And at the beginning of the movie, you get a brief shot of a dragon killing some knights. And then Millie Bobby Brown's gonna marry this dude, and then after she like gets married to him or whatever, they do a blood oath thing where they cut each other's hands and then put their hands together, and then he tosses her over this big crevice down into the inside of this mountain, and then there's a big ass dragon waiting to eat her, because as you find out through the movie, this kingdom's like knights or whatever went there unprovoked and killed this dragon's babies, and so it's been in torment since then. So it's been like it's made basically a pact with the kingdom that if they deliver somebody from its bloodline, it'll eat them, so many of them or whatever. And then I guess it'll leave the rest of the kingdom alone. And in terms of, so it can get revenge. That's its way of getting vengeance. The dragon, I thought the voice acting was good. It's definitely trying to take a page out of like Smog from the Lord of the Rings, like Hobbit movies. But the actor did a good job. It was a good voice, and the animation for the dragon looks good to great. Every now and then you get something that kind of looks like an obvious green screen in terms of the background, well, where you can tell it's a green screen type background. But the acting for the dragon was great in terms of the voice acting. Millie Bobby Brown, like I said, does a good job. After I watched this film, I looked online. I was curious about what this film had. On Rotten Tomatoes, critic reviews are pretty much mixed. I think it has like a 58 or a 56, which pretty much means divisive reviews. And the audience reviews were higher. They were like, the audience score, I believe, was like 68, which is pretty decent, not bad. On IMDb, though, it has a low rating, and if you look at the reviews on there in terms of the written reviews, there's a lot of people that do like it, but there's also a lot of people that just like hated this movie. I give it like a 2 out of 10. I'm like, why? A 2 out of 10 or a 3? That's ridiculous. The CGI alone in this being as good as it is with the dragon should have at least gotten this like a 2-star, like a 5 something, to like an okay movie rating. A 2 out of 10? That's completely ridiculous. And if you read the reviews, 90% of the negative reviews for this on IMDb are people complaining, this film is SJW, it's social justice warrior, because it's got a hero female in it who has to rise up and fight this dragon and take it out. And I just knew that was going to be the plot of this movie. It was so predictable this was going to be a feminist propaganda film. I'm like, oh my God. Guys, just because a movie has a heroic female rising up to whoop a villain's ass does not mean it's a feminist propaganda film. If you go into a movie or a show with built-in biases already built in to want to see those things, and you're wanting to grade every movie on how they show those things that you're already wanting to see, then you're gonna hate nearly everything you watch, because if you go into a movie or a show wanting to see propaganda, you're gonna see it. You could see it in anything. If you want to, you can see propaganda in literally any movie. Just because a movie has a strong female character does not make it a propaganda film, people. It's like channels like Geeks and Gamers and The Quartering, just ridiculous YouTube channels who have stuff like every now and then they have like a small smidge of a point where they are right about something, but they just thrive off being like psychotically anti-woke, and they don't realize they're just as crazy now as the people who are like psychotically pro-woke, to the point where they see, like, if the movie Aliens came out today, and I know they'll deny this, these types of people will deny this, but really, if the movie Aliens came out today, Geeks and Gamers would make like 20 videos where they would say, oh, the synopsis for Aliens leaked. Oh, Ripley, who was just a space trucker basically in the first movie, is apparently like outclassing the male Marines in this, and she's going to be like a complete badass, where she's just tougher than all the Marines and just automatically knows how to work all these weapons after just a few seconds of messing with them, and then she's the toughest person in the whole movie. Yeah, feminist propaganda. And you know they would. You know they would. If that came out today, that would be exactly it. And then they would be doing commentary about the Vasquez character, going, oh, the Vasquez character, they had to put like a butch, tough female lesbian in here for that whole feminist propaganda thing to show how much tougher women are than men. You know they would. There'd be 30 videos on it in like 2 minutes on YouTube from the Quartering and Geeks and Gamers. It's ridiculous. Overall, in terms of this movie, Millie Bobby Brown does a good job. I will say this, the movie does drag for the first act for a little bit of it. After you see the dragon, you're like, well, when the fuck are we getting back to the dragon? Because when it's the Millie Bobby Brown like romance thing or whatever, I like the twist of how he just throws her down to the crevice or whatever inside the mountain. But at the same time, seeing him and the Millie Bobby Brown like court each other or whatever, for a while I was getting bored. I was like, am I gonna like this movie? I was bored. But then when it picked up, when it was like her versus the dragon and just trying to survive, most of it's her running from the dragon, I was like, oh, okay, you're getting more intense here, more fun, you got some more action going on. I will say this, there are obvious problems here. When certain moments when she's like hiding from the dragon and everything, the dragon like corners her or could easily disintegrate her with its fire. They come up with some random happenstance reason for her not to get killed. Like her father shows up because apparently he was in on it. He regrets doing the decision, so he comes there to save her. And he just happens to show up at the right time before and the dragon's like, well, I guess I won't kill you right this second. I'm going to go kick your father's ass. And so he goes and kills him. So it's like, yeah, sorry if you hear vehicles in the background. I live really close to the road. So if you hear vehicles in the background and stuff like that, I live extremely close to the road. But yeah. So yeah, happenstance moments like that and stuff. It's like, I do like how when it gets to the end of the movie when she takes the dragon out, because he wasn't able to get her, so they like put her younger sister down there and it's gonna eat her pretty much, and she goes there to save her sister, and she manages to take the dragon down by getting it to hit itself with its own fire. And there are these happenstance like little blue bugs or whatever in there that eat off like dead skin, kind of like maggots after something gets burnt. That's kind of a movie cliche. I didn't really like that, but overall, because this movie is such a simple story, just a chick trying to survive a dragon, I didn't have to grade it too harshly because it is such a simple movie. And I'm okay with doing something simple as long as you can make it entertaining. And the acting here was good, and it was a simple story, so it was able to be entertaining for what it was. And I do like the ending to this. Millie Bobby Brown gets the dragon down, and she explains to the dragon, I'm not actually related to these people blood-wise. They just mix their blood with mine. And so she doesn't kill the dragon. Instead, she saves it. And so she and the dragon team up and go at the end of the movie to get revenge on the kingdom. And they show up there, and the dragon shows up and just obliterates everybody there. And I didn't know if the prince was going to get killed because he was in on it, but at the same time, you could tell he didn't really want to do it. It was just something he was talked into because his mom, who's basically the queen, wanted him to. But at the same time, he did go through with it, so... So I do like the fact that he got iced at the end as well by getting just demolished by the fire. And then the movie ends with her heading back to her own kingdom with her little sister and Angela Bassett, who I have no idea why she's in this movie because she does nothing. And they're heading back to their kingdom, and the dragon's like flying next to him. And that's how it ends. The other kingdom got burnt to a crisp. Overall, 3 out of 4. I thought this movie was good. It is basic. There's nothing amazing here or anything mind-blowing, and it's not a great movie, but overall it was good entertainment that was completely fine and watchable and entertaining. I liked it. Didn't love it. I liked it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.